Good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up these football guys. Wake up this morning, guys. I know it's early Saturday morning, but hey, we got to handle our business here. Man, I'm tired, boss. I'm real tired, but the work never ends. I've actually got to get on the road. Got to help my daughter do some moving and things today. So got a good drive in front of me, but I will be back for our live stream Sunday afternoon vent session, which is a call-in show. Hope you guys will join us here at 5 o'clock Eastern. One of the things that's been talked about with the Dallas Cowboys is the loss of Amari Cooper. That the Dallas Cowboys, along with Michael Gallup, who will probably start the season unable to perform on the PUP list in training camp because he is recovering from the ACL, is the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver core is undermanned and not enough experience. I am on the other side of the fence here. I think we're going to be okay. And one of the reasons why, actually I have a couple of reasons why. I think James Washington doesn't actually get enough love for what he's actually able to do. And when you think about Pittsburgh last year, passing the football down the field was one of those things they just were not able to do with Big Ben. Big Ben was truly a shell of himself. James Washington is kind of that deeper threat guy and usually ended up taking, more than anybody else on the team, taking the number one cornerback against him. But he was kind of in the doghouse for Mike Tomlin, so he didn't get a lot of playing time. And I believe that he's actually going to be pretty good for us. And on the other side of the fence, a guy who could have a Michael Gallup type rookie year who is expected to actually start right out the box is Jalen Tolbert. I actually am really high on Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert, 6'1", a little bit tall. You like a bigger target and things. But in his last 2 years in South Alabama, 2020, he ended up having his first 1,000-yard season with 8 touchdowns, okay? Last year, he had over 1,474 yards, being Conference Offensive Player of the Year with a 17.5-yard per catch average. That's not exactly chump change. And I describe this as there's some people that the clothes make good. You know, they make the person look good. Then there's other people that doesn't matter what they put on, they look good in anything. And that's the case of Dak Prescott as a quarterback. For whatever reason, I don't care if it's Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, Allen Hurns, different receivers come to Dallas and they start having career numbers. Even with Dez Bryant. Do you know that Dez Bryant averaged more yards per completion than at any other point in his career? And a lot of you didn't realize that. And if that is the case, a James Washington could be in store for a monster year. And Jalen Tolbert, I believe that if he does get that starting nod, it's going to be hard to get him off the block. I want to listen to Speak for Yourself, because their debate is about the Cowboys' depleted wide receiver core. Let's listen into them.
I had to think about this one, Sal, and I came to the conclusion that, unfortunately, they have. Last year, going into the season, we all said the Cowboys had the best or one of the best offenses in football. Let's go back a year if we can. Dak Prescott was coming off of injury, so you knew he was going to be back ready to go. Ezekiel Elliott, you know, he was in the best shape of his life. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz. We knew the Dallas Cowboys had a squad along with Michael Gallup, etc. But when you look this year, the Dallas Cowboys have one of the worst offenses in the NFC if you look at skill positions. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
You look at the Bucs, they still have Chris Godwin. they still have Mike Evans. You look at even the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert. You look at the Washington Commanders, Jahan Dotson, Scary Terry McLaurin. You look at the Rams, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, along with the running back Cam Akers that's not coming off of an Achilles injury. You look at the Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins, along with Hollywood Brown. But then you look at the Cowboys, and all you are left with is very simply Michael Gallup, coming off of an injury, and CeeDee Lamb, along with the Ezekiel Elliott, who we no longer believe in. So I think they're set up for failure because as you stack the Cowboys' offensive roster versus anybody else's offensive roster that's actually a legitimate opponent, a legitimate competitor in the NFC, the Cowboys no longer stack up. And this is the first time in a long time that we can say that about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I haven't even talked about the offensive line, which for so long was what made the Cowboys great from 2014 to 2021 after they were drafting Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. That's what really made the Cowboys great. I haven't even talked about them. They, too, are now going to be more disappointing compared to future Cowboys teams or past Cowboys teams. Dak is set up. I don't know when America will realize it. They might realize it once the season hits and they see that Dak's numbers aren't as good as they typically have been compared to the likes of Stafford, Brady, Murray, amongst others. But this will be a very depressing year in my mind for the Dallas Cowboys offense.
Oh, man, I think Dak is set up to succeed. This is the setup, though. There is a construction that looks different this year than last year, as you stated. I think they're looking at Dak as like, we want more out of you, even though we're going to give you less. But in this situation, less is more. Because the most talented team in the NFL never wins the Super Bowl. All those super teams, Philadelphia had it like 9 different times. How many Super Bowls has a super team ever won? I've never seen everyone go out and begin the season. This is a super team, declare themselves a super team, and win it all.
Wouldn't you say, I would submit that the Rams were the most talented team last year.
The Rams?
Because by the time they got Aaron Donald plus Von Miller plus Jalen Ramsey plus Matthew Stafford.
If you keep adding in December, but I'm saying going into the season.
Yes, sir.
Who said the Rams are going to win it all? We were like, Matthew Stafford going to give him a bump. He should do more than Jared Goff, et cetera. But there was a huge question mark around that, especially after Arizona waxed them. Everybody was like, what are you doing? Here's the thing. We're talking about this because Drew Pearson spoke on this. Now, I'm not going to undress Drew Pearson because he was a beast. However, in retirement, not so much a beast in terms of how he thinks about his Dallas Cowboys. You want to hear an antonym? You want to hear some antonyms right now? I love antonyms. First of all, synonyms was great, but they showed me antonyms. I was like, oh, my God. Here's a sentence. Drew Pearson says that the talent receiving core was depleted a little bit.
Depleted
Hey,
a
Drew,
little
let me
bit.
help you out, big dog. What are we saying about this Dallas Cowboys team? They lost Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper didn't even have 1,000 yards for them last year.
And
Dak Prescott still was 3rd in passer rating. Dak Prescott still led the NFL with the #1 offense. Dak Prescott still had the #1 scoring offense. What a receiver who was in decline by the numbers. Say what you want about Amari Cooper. Oh, he's going against the #1s. He was in decline by the numbers as a Dallas Cowboy. So now that opens up an opportunity for CeeDee Lamb. We're talking about the receiving core. Let's talk about the running game. Yeah, Ezekiel lied to us and said he's in the best shape of his life, and that was going to translate on the field. That didn't happen. But what did happen is an opportunity opens up for Tony Pollard now to be justified in demanding more carries. That may work out better for the Dallas Cowboys. You see how this redesign is working for the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, Zeke, you the man. Well, actually, Pollard's going to be our guy. Oh, Amari Cooper, you the man. Nah, actually, we're going to let CeeDee Lamb go get this. Dak Prescott, we know you steady, Eddie. Since you've been in the league as a 4th-rounder Romo's backup, you are 4th in quarterback wins. And you told me that that's a quarterback stat. So Dak Prescott's like, dog, why y'all sleeping on me? I have kept this team in contention. No, we haven't won it all, but there have been other greats older than me that took their time to win it all. Why not Dak?
What I don't think we can deny is that the Cowboys this season are worse than the Cowboys last season offensively based off talent.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think
on paper, on dead wood.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Ezekiel Elliott is declining year after year, so we have to continue to assume he will decline this year.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper may have only given the Cowboys 900 yards last year, but that is still, in fact, 900 yards.
I like how you round up.
860.
898?
I mean, keep going. 865.
Cedric Wilson, number 4, the 4th receiver for that squad. He was only the 4th receiver, but he was still the 4th receiver. The Cowboys' offense is worse this year than it was last year, at minimum on paper.
Yeah, on paper.
If last year the Dallas Cowboys offense could not get that team where they needed to go, at least one playoff win, then this year, knowing they are worse on paper, I have to surmise that they are, in fact, setting Dak Prescott up for failure because you're not getting better. You know what they say, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're not staying the same. Right. The Dallas Cowboys have gotten worse offensively. But it's not so much the Cowboys that set Dak up for failure. It's Dak Prescott's pocketbook that set him up for failure. Because as you know, the more Dak Prescott makes, the less money everybody else can make. What was most mind-blowing to me was realizing Dak Prescott will make this season, I believe, more money. He made more last season than the entire Cowboys Super Bowl roster made back in 93 and 95 amongst
this
others.
Inflation for real.
Crazy.
I love it.
So if Dak Prescott is commanding all of this money,
the salary cap was $32 million back then.
You can't afford to keep Amari Cooper. You can't afford to keep all of these other high-priced receivers, high-priced offensive linemen, etc., because Dak is commanding so much money. So it's not the Cowboys that set Dak up for failure. It's Dak Prescott's bank account that is setting him up for failure on the field.
And that bank account was active last year, you said. And it was. What did he make, $75 million? He made $75 million 1 year. But he also went 10-2 in the NFC, best record in that conference. But that bank account was still active.
It was.
He also went 6-0 in that division, and they won those games average 40-17. But that bank account was active. You know, what's funny about the Dallas Cowboys, people be praying for their downfall. Just because they're so polarizing, I want a star. People love you or they love to hate you. In this situation, you ever been somewhere where on paper, they're not anticipating the greatness that you know you have in you? So on paper, it happened to me thousands of times, whether it's like, where you from? Go to Columbia. And then they like, oh, where you from? Oh. You play football? Oh, I had the double whammy before. I was like, no, meet me, know me. I'm going to get a 2.8 here. I'm going to be fine. But the point is, sometimes you judge a book by its cover. You got to read the content. The Patriots were never the most talented team. And Tom Brady, early in his career, was commanding top dollar. And then when Wes Welker, in that situation, that dynamic changed it all, he started to say, let me take some haircuts. But people forget Tom Brady was making that dough for a while there, and they were still winning championships. So now I'm looking at Dallas Cowboys like, maybe the book looks different, but the content's going to be even greater, a better read. I just know when I was a backup, and I'm not going to slight Bruce Smith because he's thousands of times better than me, but I went out there and I actually helped the defensive end position in production. His last year in Buffalo, 7 sacks. My first year starting after he left, 10.5 sacks. On paper, you thought we got worse. You look up, we got better at that position alone. All I'm saying is maybe that's going to be contagious with these Dallas Cowboys. Opportunity is going to present itself to guys who are going now overachieve.
But, Sel, you can be set up for
I'm going to leave it right there because this goes on for – that's only half of this. But in that debate where they think that if you lose a few players – that automatically there's no chance that you're going to get worse. And I will say that in 2013, our defense was abysmal. 2013 until the 2020 team was the worst defense that we ever had. And we had DeMarcus Ware. We had Jason Hatcher with 11 sacks. And we had a younger Sean Lee. After that season, Sean Lee, first play at training camp, 2014, gets hit by a rookie, Zach Martin, in an OTA, non-padded practice, tears up his knee, is lost for the season. DeMarcus Ware, cut by the Cowboys, cap hit, goes on to Denver to win a Super Bowl. Jason Hatcher, after 11-sack season, goes on to Washington, where he got a big fat payday and really didn't do that much after that. Looking at that on paper, you looked at that and said, the defense couldn't stop anybody with those 3 great players. We've lost all of them. we are not going to be able to stop a high school team, as some of the sports people actually said. But the amazing thing was, with a bunch of no-names and guys who've never played before, that defense got better. That defense went from 32nd to 19th. And you don't expect that to happen with no-name guys. Just does. You know, guys aren't stars until they get the opportunity to become them. So with that being said, you know how we roll. We got to get up on out of here. We got work to do. I have many things that I have to do. And one of the most important ones is take care of you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the road.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is